So we saw some. There was I can't think of the fighter's name. I know she's pretty popular, but I can't think of her name. But she was complaining that she wanted equal pay for jiu-jitsu athletes for women.
I don't remember who that was.
But like I don't know her name. Sorry, but you know who you are. No, but like so, and then Gordon Ryan comes out and goes,
"Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Gordon Ryan responds and goes, I don't believe in that. And I kind of want to I kind of want to side on the side of like what Ronda Rousey said back in the day. Ronda Rousey came out and said, just because I'm a female doesn't mean I deserve equal pay to a man. She's like, I get paid more than most of the guys on the roster because people want to see me.
Right.
So I'm all about women getting that bread, but like,
become the draw.
Yeah. Like, people want to see Ronda Rousey beat someone in 14 seconds. There was like a good 6 to 8 months there where she was just like
starching people.
The cat's pajamas. You know what I mean? And she earned the right to make that money.
Right. Let's be real. There wouldn't be women's MMA right now if it wasn't for her. Like I think Dana would have cut.
Well, he created it because of her.
Right.
He said that he would never have women's MMA.
I remember that.
And then all of a sudden she was just too hot of a draw.
Yeah.
And, she put it on the map. So she's basically the Jackie Robinson for women's MMA.
Mm-hmm.
But like she was the draw. No one wanted to see Cyborg fight in the UFC, even though Christine Cyborg was the craziest girl fighter there was.
Right. I'm gonna go with what you're saying here, and I'm gonna push back on this random girl that we don't know.
Okay.
Is there any woman out there making as much money as Gordon Ryan in jiu-jitsu? Probably not. Definitely not. I don't think
anybody in jiu-jitsu is making that money. Yeah.
Now, there are women blue belts that have 70,000 Instagram followers and have like sponsorship deals from gi companies.
Yeah.
And then there are dudes, and they're just women blue. They're not like world champion.
They're just good looking girls.
Yeah. And I'm like, but there's dudes that are like phenomenal jiu-jitsu athletes at blue, at purple, and they have nothing.
Right.
So I don't know. Be an influencer.
Do you think it's easy? I'm trying. Do you think do you think it's easier to be an elite jiu-jitsu athlete as a woman over a guy? You think I mean, obviously there's more competition as a man. More guys are doing jiu-jitsu than girls. Just look at your jiu-jitsu classes. So just numbers alone, you might have more smoke, right? But some of these girls are phenomenal.
Yeah. We've talked about the Helena Cravar girl before, blue belt. She's like 17 years old or something like that.
She has a last name?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's how good she is.
Yeah.
Are you good? You don't have a last name?
She's phenomenal. And she's a blue belt. And she's not trying to post exposing photos. She's not trying to go the influencer.
No, it's all off jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think she might be the first one to get to that spot.
Right. And she's smoking black belts and competitions and whatnot, like when she does like a non-belted, like an ADCC open kind of a thing. So it'll be interesting where I think she's kind of the first of her kind.
Now, she's very good. Do you think it would be good for her brand to go into some male divisions?
No.
Just keep dominating the women's circuit?
Yeah.
Because like, what if she won some golds or something? Like, even if they're not like huge tournaments, but like she just has podium photos of her standing above dudes. Because I think she could do it.
I think she could do it. I think it's one of those things where if it doesn't help her if she wins, but it hurts her if she loses. Like there's, you know what I mean? I don't think it's beneficial. I don't think it would get her any more clout.
In NBA, there's this, or not in NBA yet, but in college, there's this girl named Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal basketball player. She's breaking all the records. And people are like, she could get some run in the NBA. Like, she cannot.
No.
But I'm just saying what it is just a genetic thing you're not going to have. It's not going to happen.
Right.
She will get tune up in the NBA.
So you know the are you familiar with the if we're just going between like the men's and women's sport thing? Are you familiar with the show that's on Netflix, Welcome to Wrexham? It's about, or not Netflix, on Hulu. It's about Ryan Reynolds, the actor, and George McElhaney, the actor from It's Always Sunny. Mac. They bought a soccer team in England.
Okay.
Or in the UK, in Wales, actually. And they've put a bunch of money into like building the team up and like getting them from like a low-level league all the way to a high. So anyways, that team came to the U.S. and did an exhibition game against the women's U.S. national soccer team. And there's an interview with the girl saying like, one of the players on the women's team saying like, are you ready? You know, you ready to lose? You're going down, da-da-da. Dude, the men's team that was like, at the time, they're like 7 tiers down from like the main professional league in Europe. So they're like a farm team as far as, you know, like baseball would be concerned. They beat the women's national team, which is arguably the best women's soccer team in the world for decades now, 14-1.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, it's a testosterone thing.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, it's a testosterone thing.
Yeah. Yeah. When we're talking professional athletes here, not just your average regular guy off the street.
I'm sure Caitlin Clark come in here and get 50 on me right now.
Right.
You know,
right.
You know what I mean?
But
like
on somebody on the, you could have a team full of her and she's going to struggle. That team's going to struggle with like your average.
There's a reason.
Top 16
there's a
college
reason
team.
why shitty male athletes are changing their genders
right
to
and then
join
dominate.
Women's teams and dominate. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Because they're, one, pieces of shit. And then 2, that's an easier route for them.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's just genetics. Hey.
It's just genetics.
Yeah.
Isn't that, I don't think genetics should stop a woman from getting her bag. I think that like if you deserve that draw, like Ronda did, or like there's a couple fighters in MMA that I will like, oh, they're fighting, I want to see. Like
right. I like Rose.
If Rose fights, or Holly Holm fights,
yeah.
If you know Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, I had real interest in watching them fight.
Yeah,
like but you have to build it. You know what I mean? I feel like
you know what?
They shouldn't just deserve. They make what the big guys make.
You know, we were talking about this on the last pod,
but it happens for men too. Sorry, real quick. Dariush, okay?
Yeah.
He does not put asses in seats.
No.
Fantastic fighter in MMA.
Nobody cares about his story.
No one knows. He's just a nice, humble guy, good dad.
Right.
That ain't getting it done.
Right.
And like, so like, I'm sure his paychecks are not as big
as they should be.
Right. And it's kind of like he didn't earn his bag.
Right. No, I agree with you. And we talked about this in the last episode about like how we need a backstory to get us hooked and get us into it. And I think there really isn't anybody in women's MMA. Like nobody gives a shit about Weili Zhang. You know?
No, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's amazing. You know, she's so well rounded.
I hope today that and I think probably in the next 20 years, we're going to have women that are like must see TV, give them the money.
Right.
But there's a reason why right now, almost every title fight you see, a women's title fight in UFC, there's another title fight.
Or
that's
they're on a
two
fight
dudes.
Night. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a double title fight, and it's just a girl's title fight and a guy's title fight, or the co-main event for the dudes is for the BMF. Or it's like something, there's a big male fight on that card because just the women stand alone, it's not a huge draw. I can tell you the top like 5 or 6 women in MMA, but I couldn't tell you the 8th or 9th.
And sad to say, but none of those top 5 women that are in MMA, I don't think any of them are really. I think Rose has a story, and I think that they were building something between the Rose, her and Weili back and forth, but that kind of died out, and nothing really kind of filled its place. Who was the one that who was the women's champ that just retired, 2 division champ?
Nunes.
Yeah,
Red Dildo Night.
Yeah, but her story, like nobody cared. You know what I mean? Like she was good, she's dominant,
and that's part of the UFC's problem because they had a chance but they thought Ronda was the only one,
right?
And so when she fought Ronda got all that pub. Rogan talks about this. Ronda got all this pub for the Nunes title fight with Ronda, and she couldn't they didn't get no Nunes. There was no Nunes story. And Joe Rogan's like, this chick's a bad bitch. She's gonna put hands, and she knocked out Ronda. But then who's this lady? And then she just kept knocking out chicks, but no one knew who she was.
Right.
We knew that. Here's what I know about Amanda Nunes. She's an American Top Team. Started her own gym. She likes the ladies. She had adopted a baby, or she inseminated, whatever they did. They have a baby. They have 2 now, I think.
And that's kind of where it ends.
And then she deferred from her school. She deferred from her team, American Top Team, started her own gym, took a fight lightly, got beat, trained hard, got that one back, and then fucking
it's
I don't know much about her backstory. I don't know where she was raised, where she was born, or grown up, or nothing. I know Ronda Rousey's though. I know Ronda Rousey's mom was a judo champ.
Right.
I know Ronda Rousey was in Olympics and this, and that. I know Ronda Rousey.
Same thing with Rose is one of the things that I think it was a
Pat
statement.
Barry found her at 12 and fucking.
That's so weird.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
That's all I know about Rose.
Yeah.
She had long hair. Now she don't.
Right. But instead, I was going to say, I think that's a statement piece that she made that I think benefited her as far as her story and people taking interest in it. Because she's this really pretty woman, shaves her head off because she doesn't want that to be her draw, but it almost intensifies why you want to watch her. Oh, she's,
Conor McGregor scared her in the bus by hitting her with the freaking dolly. You know what I mean? But we don't know a lot about them. They don't put time in the backstory. Maybe I'm not looking for the backstory in the girls. Maybe that's partly my fault. But
do you watch the Undisputeds or anything like that?
I used to watch those all the time, but now I kind of watch the Embeddeds.
Okay.
Before UFC, because they're 5-minute little docs, and I just kind of watch the Embeddeds up to the fights, and then I go from there.
Well, I don't know. I think jiu-jitsu needs something like that. I mean, we talk about PGF a lot, and I mentioned that to Brandon. I was like, "Are you guys going to do player bios and stuff like that?" Because I think that's important to building it and whatnot. And I think that as PGF grows, or if anything else comes along like that, if PGF is the building block to the next thing or whatever. That if they can do something that's seasonal like that over time, they need to put out these little 15-minute kind of behind the scenes training. This is, this fighter, has a wife and kids, and he works this job and he trains this, and what I mean?
They just need to take that UFC model, and because UFC can do it.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen some of Bo Nickel stuff. But I'm a Bo Nickel fanboy right now.
Oh yeah.
He's my favorite fighter because he's he's the anti-McGregor. He's American and humble, goes home, hooks up with his wife missionary style.
Cracks.
He has a freaking free roam chickens and shit. That's the guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I
love that he his on his social media, the things where he'll do the memes, and he'll do the cutaway where he's on a training dummy, dumping it in the ground or whatever. Yeah, stuff like that.
So I'm a big Bo Nickel fan, but I'm learning his backstory.
Yeah.
So to me, I think it'd be cool to see not just the PGF, Flow Grappling, anybody. Let's learn these guys.
Right.
So
I think ADCC should be dumping money. I mean, not like they don't have it,
Right.
So you've got the ADCC is an invitational, and then there's a handful of spots that they have open to trials, but I think over half the people are invites ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
They should be putting money into all take the top 10 guys or top 8 guys or whatever, and do little mini bio backstories on these guys. Because ADCC is in the end of this year,
right?
They should have been putting this stuff out already, 6 months out.
There's so many good jiu-jitsu guys out there, so many great jiu-jitsu guys out there, but they're all getting themselves over. Gordon Ryan got himself over.
Right.
He created his social media. He created his gimmick. His, now he's his cars and this and that, and now he freaking, we know when his car gets stolen. We know when,
right.
You know what I mean? He created his whole gimmick. Now he's got sandals and he's starting a YouTube, and we all know Gordon. Craig Jones, same thing. Right. He's the funny guy. He creating jokes. He's also a savage as fuck, but he created his gimmick.
Right.
All those guys on B Team we kind of know who they are because they have put themselves either on a podcast or they're doing something to make themselves. They don't have a company do it for them. UFC kind of makes a company do it for them.